to I King Dandy Crazy. Wow. You're watching MD90. Subscribe to YouTube channel. Nishiu. The curfew.
Well, as you may be aware, the opposition has not been able to hold rallies, and this is what the police had to say about it, according to the news diggers. We do not allow opposition rallies because other side is always ready to attack them, says police IG, according to the news diggers. Then one would ask a question to say, if the police IG is aware of the other side in this race, it's the UPND, because those are the ones in government and opposing the opposition, obviously. How does the same logic apply to the UPND to say you stop the UPND rallies expecting the other opposition to attack them? Honestly, this statement does not hold any water, but anyway, it is what it is. These are the politics of the day. But some of the pictures from Dandy Crazy's funeral that have been circulating and have made people have a warm reaction is the interaction between Patriotic Front Vice President Given Luvinda and Youth and Sports Minister Elvis Nkandu at the ceremony, as they were giving the individual speeches. The Minister of Sport highlighted the fact that, say, Dandy Crazy was a uniting factor where two opposing sides could interact and work together on stage, which made Given to come up on stage also. And these are the pictures that came from that. Obviously, eventually, the sports minister started thanking President Hakainde Hichilema, and this is where they were patting each other on the back. That is Given Luwinda patting sports minister on the back, and same applies with him. So people were like, no, Dandy Crazy's persona was beyond just music. He encompassed politics, social life, and everything else. Where, because if you following the funeral service of Dandy Crazy, you could see people from all sections of society were there: business people, artists, preachers, politicians, musicians, actors. Everybody was there. It was a very big event. So people were shocked to say they did not think he had that much impact, but they were shocked to find there was a very big heavyweight, both in politics and in music. So everyone was like, no, the country has lost a very valuable asset in Dandy Crazy. So we continue mourning Dandy Crazy. So various events are still being organized with regard to the event of the funeral of Dandy Crazy. So there's a concert that is coming up for the same, and then other events will be shared as the time goes by, as his legacy is being cemented in Zambian history. What is the Chief Tayari asks the question to say, question in 2026, if not Hakainde Hichilema, then who? So there's been this debate to say the fact that Edgar Chagalungu was officially been disqualified by the Constitutional Court. So, and it seems like there is no formidable opposition or formidable candidate to rely on or bank on as a candidate in 2026. So Chief Tayari asks this question: in as much as the opposition would like to be optimistic, at this point we only have a couple of months to elections. This is 2025. Who's the alternative to Hakainde Hichilema? So of late, Chief Tayari has been shooting at the opposition, saying they seem very disorganized, and he's standing on solid ground. The UPND says Tonse Alliance greedy and selfish. Pretty much referring to the leader of Tonse Alliance, who is Edgar Chagwalungu, and their candidate as things stand. So the UPND posted this statement saying, Tonse Alliance greedy and selfish, cries Max Chongo. As he accuses the alliance of lacking tact. Citizens First National Youth chairperson or chairman Max Chungo has cried foul as he accused the Tonse Alliance of being selfish and greedy, as he writes. In Kawamba, we gave way to PF, the Tonse Alliance, so that goes to show it's Edgar Lungu's team, where Tonse Alliance, yes, they say it's an alliance, but pretty much it's dominated by the Patriotic Front. So Max Chongo, who was the former PF cadre, if you remember, before he moved to Citizens First, says Tonse Alliance hoping they will reciprocate in Pambeshe or Petauke, but to our surprise, they chose to field candidates in all those by-elections. Would you really blame us for going our way? So he asked to say Citizen First backed the Tonse Alliance or the Patriotic Front candidate, expecting that in the next by-elections, which is Pambashe and Petauke, they will probably give the chance to the Uka Alliance or pretty much Citizen First. He goes further to say, do you want us to be giving chance in perpetuity? He asks a question. Tonse is being selfish, but at the end of the day, it's their numbers in parliament that are depleting. So referring to the Patriotic Front, saying in as much as yes, they want to be selfish in this regard, it's Edgar Lungu's team that is depleting in numbers on parliament, because if you remember, the last seat that the UPND won was held by a Patriotic Front member of parliament, which is now UPND, and the next two, in as much as JJ's seat was independent, he was more inclined to the Patriotic Front. He goes further to say, 7 political parties, including the United Party for National Development, and independents have successfully filed in parliamentary candidates to contest the vacant Petauke parliamentary seat slated for February 6th, 2025. So in exactly a month's time, that's when those votes will be taking place. So pretty much Citizen First and Max Chongo complain that Edgar Lungu's team and the Tonse Alliance are very selfish. They were supposed to give a chance to this particular alliance. But then again, as we go in the broadcast, you'll see why that argument does not hold any water. Let's go further in this broadcast. The UPND go further to say, opposition parties have failed to agree on fielding unified candidates in their forthcoming by-elections, with each party opting to field its own candidates. So if you remember, earlier on, Edgar Lungu was pretty much on a campaign trying to unite the opposition to say in any election that comes up, it would be in their best interest for them to have one strong candidate backed by every opposition. But clearly, Fred Member wasn't buying into that. Fred Member's he always fields his candidate. He never participates in any of these alliances. Clearly stating, if you do not agree with him being president, I don't see him joining any of these alliances. That's Fred Member's Socialist Party. So they've already filled in their candidates. Even in the other by-elections, they did the same. So the UPND is simply jumping at that to say the unity that Edgar Lungu was working towards seems to be not yielding any results. And then Simon Moore says, I am a state witness in the matter concerning Mr. Chimbakambwili. I missed my court date and bench warrant issued was issued. My lawyers, J&M Associates, are dealing with the matter. So he says he's supposed to be a state witness and he did not appear in court, so there's a bench warrant for him. They have jailed a poor woman to avoid her meddling in the rigging of the 2 by-elections. Cowards. That's free Mumbi Phiri. That's according to Shifetayari, alleges to say the UPND has an agenda to rig the elections, just like they rigged the previous by-elections, according to him, allegedly. So that's why they've arrested Mumbi Phiri. But the details, this according to the Patriotic Front report, they say police detained Mumbi Phiri at Ibex Hill Police Station. The Zambia police has detained former Patriotic Front Deputy Secretary General Mumbi Phiri. The police are accusing Mumbi of aggravated robbery, which the Patriotic Front calls bogus charges. During the Kawamba by-elections, Mumbi Phiri confronted Minister of Green Economy and Environment, Mike Mposha, who was conducting an illegal electoral activity by grabbing NRCs and voters' cards at polling centers in Kawamba. Mumbi is detained at the Ibex Hill Police Station in Lusaka and is expected to be transported to Kawamba soon. So that's a report coming from the Patriotic Front to say they are likely to transport Mumbi Phiri to Kawamba. If you remember, there was an incident where she confronted what they're describing there, where she confronted the same minister. And then it's alleged to say she had robbed an Infinix phone and an amount that the police have disclosed. So that's the charge that they are putting on her as the next election set kicks in. What is the UPND reports with the images the same? United Party for National Development successfully files in nomination for Petauke Central by-elections as election patron Gary Nkombo preaches peace, while Johabi calls for unity. So those are the pictures that came from Eastern Province, where Gary Nkombo and the rest of the UPND were, as they filed in to contest the Petauke Central seat, which was held by JJ Banda, who is currently on the run, and it's alleged to be in Zimbabwe. What is the UPND same. Citizen First candidate in Citizen First candidate nomination has been rejected for failure to produce a valid voters card during the filing in process for the Pambeshe parliamentary by-election. So you see, this is where you could say Edgar Lungu's team was right, and then obviously which has been confirmed by Harikala, by the party president, to say the battle lines have been drawn in Pembeshe constituency, where UKA is fielding in their candidate under the Citizen First party. So this is where the party that wanted Edgar Lungu to endorse their candidate, as opposed to Tonse Alliance and Edgar Lungu having their own candidate. But their candidate, this is what happened to their candidate. Hari Kalava and the UKA candidate fails, this according to the UPND. Hari Kalava and the UKA candidate fails to file in nomination for Pambeshe. Citizen First candidate, his nomination has been rejected for failure to produce a valid voter's card during the filing in process for Pambeshe parliamentary by-election. This is despite Citizen First, which is being backed by United Kwacha Alliance, UKA, having been given more time to present valid documents, according to the Daily Mail. So the candidate that they had found and the candidate that they wanted Edgar Lungu to endorse did not even have a valid voter's card that could be accepted for nomination. Now imagine if the Patriotic Front had decided not to field their candidate and then rely on the Citizen First candidate, only for that candidate to be disqualified for election, meaning the Patriotic Front all of a sudden will not participate in these by-elections. So you get to see, this is where the people don't take such small parties into seriousness, because this is proper work that is supposed to be done in the background. You do your homework, what is required, and then you present your candidate. Not you can present a candidate with invalid documents only to be rejected. Then you expect a big party like Patriotic Front to endorse that candidate in a seat that they held for their candidate and just lose it out by not participating. Serious endorsement. Come on, guys. No way. Edgar Lungu and his team was right in that sense for not endorsing this nonsense, honestly. And then here Harikaba acknowledges, says, took time this afternoon to console our supporters when our candidate for Pambeshe was disqualified by the Electoral Commission of Zambia for having an odd voters card. We look forward, we look to the future. Harikaba. That statement, honestly, at this stage, nah, fam, no way. Edgar Lungu and the PF were right to field their own candidate. I can only imagine the pain that would be in if they had put all their eggs in this basket of Citizen First and the UKA Alliance by endorsing this candidate, and this happens. No way, man. What is government has called on stakeholders in the forthcoming by-elections to desist from acts that they may that may undermine peace and stability prevailing in the country. Highlights from the press briefing held by the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Jack Mwimbu. Government has assured the nation of continued peace before, during, and after elections, as provided by the electoral rules and regulations. So he simply warned the opposition to say, act accordingly in these by-elections. Any rule breakers will be caught by the law. And then we would have been a nation of vagabonds, says Siakalima, says for free education has saved Zambia. This minister has been issuing a lot of statements that seem not to sit well with a lot of people. But anyway, hey, he's holding the portfolio. The other statement that he had issued, which triggered a large section of society, I think just a couple of days ago, and then he issues another one. Tonse Alliance warned the government, says it will not tolerate anarchy during the by-elections. So that's a statement coming from Jack Mwimbu, was reported in the Daily Mail there. And then Muchima threatens to cancel ambulance supply contract. Procurement system rotten, according to Minister of Health. Minister of Health has been in scandals. Goodness me. They just keep on replicating themselves. The first Sylvia Masel was moved, and they brought in this Muchima, the minister at the moment, who says everything in the ministry or in the system is rotten in the procurement process. And he says he is likely to cancel that contract. Anyway, we'll keep you posted as the news reveals itself. What is in the real times, it was just crazy, referring to Dandy Crazy's funeral. As you can see, Makitu there holding Dandy Crazy's funeral as they were leading him at at the showgrounds at the ceremony there. That's the news, ladies and gentlemen. I'll keep you posted with any new updates.